So the power of stepping out of a victim mentality and out of a state of victimhood looks like saying, I choose and I chose. Hey guys, Alexa B. Alchemy here today to talk with you about victimhood and sovereignty. The last 6 months of my life have looked a lot like stepping into my own personal power and recognizing certain belief systems that I had and thought patterns that were actually rooted in victim mentality. Now, I don't have a specific layout or plan for how I want to talk about this, so I am going to be like freeballing it, for lack of a better word, but it's really important to me that I'm able to share my experience with it as well as some of the pieces that I have learned as a result of this growth and this change. First and foremost, a few ways that you can identify if you do have a victim mentality. The first way that you can identify this actually comes through the form of mirrors. Now, this doesn't apply for every single person, every single situation of your life, because you're constantly going to be meeting energies that are vastly different than yours. But if you find that you're surrounding yourself with a multitude of people, whether it's personal relationships, romantic relationships, friendships, even family, if you find that there's a ton of people in your circle that have this victim mentality, that's a really strong indicator that it's possible that you have the same way of thinking. So honestly, the first step for me was recognizing that a lot of the people I surrounded myself with, I saw them portraying those same traits, and I then turned to myself and said, is it possible that I also embody these traits even on a deeply rooted subconscious level? And the answer was yes. Yes, I did. The second piece of having a victim mentality is feeling like you are constantly put in situations where you are lower than someone else, whether they are asserting power over you, they have used you, they have manipulated you, lied to you, hurt you in some way, shape, or form. If you are always the innocent one, that's another place where you can look at it and say, okay, where am I not stepping into my own power? Because there is a degree of responsibility we have to take for ourselves. And of course, not every situation you ask the world, oh, make this difficult, or I want to be hurt in this way, or blah, blah, blah. A lot of those situations come to us so that we can learn something from them and grow. And sometimes they are the most beautiful gifts because they're simply there to help you step into your personal power. But when you get that feeling of like, wow, I feel like I'm stuck here and I cannot get out of this, I can't climb out of this, every single relationship, every single person, they're always like this is always happening. That, my friend, is a perpetuated victim mentality. The first question you want to ask yourself is, who do I surround myself with, and do these people reflect a powerful mentality or a victim mentality? The second question you want to ask yourself is, how do I see my own personal power? Do I see myself stepping into my personal power or shying away from it? If you feel energetically like your potential to be in your power is a lot higher than what you're seeing reflected in your physical reality, then that is another good indicator that you probably aren't stepping fully into your power. And this brings us to number 3, which boils down to your belief systems. What do you believe about yourself? And also, along with that comes, what do you believe about other people? Do you believe that you are an inherently strong person? Do you believe that other people are inherently strong and able to make it through a lot? Or do you see yourself as fragile and weak? And do you see everyone else as fragile and weak and needing to be nurtured and coddled, and you can't do anything to hurt their feelings because God forbid they have any kind of pain that they also have to work through? And I want to be very clear here, I'm not saying be a dick, hurt everyone's feelings, because that's not at all the message that I want to portray. The message is simply understand how you look at the world and how you look at yourself. One of my favorite quotes is, the way that you see the world is the way that you see yourself. So if you look around and you see pain, you see darkness, you see sadness, you see hatred, violence, anger, aggression, ask yourself if that's also what you see when you look inward and you look at yourself. Are you angry at yourself? Are you beating yourself up all the time? Are you harboring emotions of resentment that you haven't allowed yourself to fully work through? Be very attentive to the way that you are interacting with your surroundings and the world around you. And I'm not gonna lie, it took a lot of strength and a lot of courage for me to finally hit a point where I recognized, okay, this is a mentality that I want to change. And it's the key moment is when you realize, I've had enough. I've had enough of this. I've had enough of living my life feeling like I don't have power and feeling like I don't have control over my own experience, feeling like I don't have control over my reaction to the world around you. Even though everyone says, oh, you can't change what happened, but you can change your reaction. If you're sitting there saying, no, I can't really help my reaction, then boom, welcome to where I was about 6 months ago figuring this out for myself. And it's not necessarily bad. Your perspective is the most powerful thing. Like if I look at a situation and the situation is inherently very, very heartfelt and it makes me cry, sure, there's a degree that if I'm an emotional creature, I can say, I can't help it that I'm crying. So with that being said, I cannot necessarily control how I emotionally react to something, but I can control how I react to the emotions, to the thoughts. I control the way that I think about my emotions and therefore the way that I interpret them. So let's say that you're going through a breakup and you feel really sad and you want to cry. You can cry and say, oh, this is the worst thing ever. I'm so sad. I'm so angry. I don't want to feel this. And that's totally fine and valid to acknowledge I'm uncomfortable, I don't want to be uncomfortable. That's very, very human. And honestly, kudos for you if you made it that far. The piece where you step into your power is when you recognize, okay, I'm sad about this, I'm crying. And your relationship to what's happening, your relationship to the emotion of sadness. If the relationship to sadness says, sadness is a terrible thing that happens to me, that's gonna really f your entire experience with sadness over. If you look at sadness and say, wow, what a beautiful gift to be able to feel something so deep and so heart-wrenching, and to know that I can also feel that same level of depth, but in the opposite direction, such as with joy, oh my God, what a gift that I can experience both sides of the spectrum. And so if you put yourself in that position and you look at the pain and you say, wow, this is beautiful, I'm crying, and you're like excited about it to a degree, you have just stepped into your personal power and decided for yourself that just because something is sad or painful doesn't mean that it's gonna f up your life or that it has to be a terrible thing. So stepping into your own sovereignty and stepping into your own power looks a lot more like, I do have a say. I can choose how I want something to make me feel. I can choose whether or not I'm going to find gratitude, even for the most horrific, painful experience you've ever been through in your life. Granted, it might not happen immediately or instantaneously, but if you set an intention and you say, I'm gonna come out stronger because of this, I'm going to allow this to mold me into the person that I'm here to become, instead of shying away from your power and saying, oh, that was really painful and I don't, and having this contractual energy. When you start to contract, you're closing yourself off from something. And I am not saying anything is wrong in any way, shape, or form. You do what you have to do. It's just the moment when you recognize, I'm being a victim, I can let this go, I feel ready to let this go, and you have to process that. Like even situations of being a victim, you have to emotionally process that. You can't just sidestep out of it and say, nah, I don't want to feel that, bye, I'm gonna be happy now. That's not really how emotional alchemy works. But you will hit a point when you recognize, do I want this to weigh me down, or do I want to allow this experience to transform into something else, to transmute, so that I can start to work up from it and to learn from it and grow and move on? Because, oh my God, if you thought life was meant to be perfect, you are gifted with the challenge of finding out that life is not meant to be perfect. The other piece that I want to talk about when it comes to victim mentality, and this can be very controversial, but this is your soul's plan. I made a reel about this a few days ago, but I really want to expand upon it because your mind is made to protect you. So your mind can look at a situation that was painful and it can say, I did not choose for that to happen. I did not ask for that to happen. I did not ask to be molested. I did not ask for my boyfriend to cheat on me. I did not ask for my wife to leave me. You can look at that and logically, mentally, that is so true. You did not choose that for yourself. Why the would you ever choose pain for yourself? Again, the mind is there to protect you. It's there to keep you safe. So the mind does not want you experiencing any level of pain. With that being said, pain is the root of a very strong alchemical process that can actually transmute you into a higher vibrational state. Oh my God, I'm gonna get spiritual. Yes, I am. Your soul's plan, let me just tell you something. Your soul's plan has so much in store for you that your mind, if your mind saw it, it would immediately say, no, we're not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. And it would shy away from it. Your soul wants you to grow, and it's willing to put you through experiences that you thought you could not make it through. It's gonna give you experiences of heartache. It's gonna give you experiences of pain, loss, grief. And again, you get to decide how you relate to all of those emotions. And keep in mind, you will attract those situations for as long as your soul deems it necessary for you to step into alignment with your personal power and your truest, highest self. And maybe that looks like 5 months, 5 years, 50 years, it does not matter. There is a level of control that you have to give up to your soul's journey and to appreciate it for what it is and to recognize, okay, all the things that have happened in the past have been painful. I've worked through them. Maybe I'm still working through them, but they make me who I am. And when you can say, they made me who I am, and I f***ing love who I am, because who I am is aligned exactly with who my soul had planned for me to become, all of that gets to be transmuted into something great called gratitude. When you choose to raise up your vibration and you choose to say, I'm not going to be a victim anymore, it doesn't mean hard situations will not come to you. It does not mean that people won't ever try to use you again. But if you raise that vibrational frequency, you're going to attract far less of those situations. And also you're going to recognize and trust that you can handle those situations should they ever present themselves again, because you've done it before, you've learned from it, you've alchemized the process, and you know how to move through it now. And perhaps part of your soul's plan is for you to learn that and to share that with other people and to teach that, whether it's through action or by example or by intimate conversation or publicizing it to the whole world. Who knows what your soul's plan is? Only you do, except you don't know it all at once. It will be revealed to you over time, which makes it all the more fun and joyful to figure out. So the power of stepping out of a victim mentality and out of a state of victimhood looks like saying, I choose and I chose. And when you say I, you're not thinking about I up here, you're not thinking about the mind I, because again, the mind I and the ego says, no, I did not choose that. I chose to keep you safe. Why the hell would you think I want to hurt you? I love you, dum-dum. Why would you do that? When you say I choose and I chose, those words are coming right from your soul. Your soul chose for you to go through those experiences. Your soul chose to put you here on this earth. Your soul chose for you to go through exactly what you're going through for whatever cosmic reason that maybe you will not be able to explain in this lifetime or even the next one. But that's when you can connect with your highest self and say, okay, I chose this. I chose this experience for whatever reason. And there is so much personal power that again comes from recognizing that in a sense you did choose this life, and only you could choose it because only you have the strength, the power, the skills, the healing, and the gifts necessary to bring you through the exact journey that you're on, as dark and deep and painful as it may get, and as beautiful, light, and abundant as it may get. Which brings me back to recognizing how you relate to the world. How do you see yourself? And how do you see other people? If I know I chose exactly this journey for myself because I have all the strength, the shortcomings, the gifts, everything that I need to make it through exactly my life, then I can also recognize that when I look at you, another soul being, and I resonate with you and I say, you chose your life. You chose your path. I can respect that and say, I am not responsible for the way that you react to your life. I am responsible for who I am as a person. And if who I am as a person to you looks like supporting you directly, whether that's through coaching you or helping you figure out how to move through this next phase, or if it's indirectly through supporting you in numbers or supporting you with money or supporting you energetically or just sending love and light, there's all kinds of different ways that you can support someone else on their journey. And honestly, if you believe in yourself more, you're probably gonna believe in other people a little bit more as well. Like if you know you've made it through some you can trust other people can probably also make it through some So the purpose of this video is to remind you, you choose, you chose. That is the most empowering thing that you could ever say. And if it's hard for you to say those words, then look at your relationship to the emotions that you have. Look at your relationship to the concept of victim mentality. Look at your relationship to your life. And as always, ask yourself, does this still serve me? Does this mentality serve me? Do these opinions serve me? And you may say yes, and that's beautiful. And you may say no, and that's also beautiful. Both are helping to guide you on the exact path that you're meant to be on, and you're meant to be on it because you're fucking on it. Thank you guys for listening to my slightly rambly rant about victim mentality and sovereignty. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and here on YouTube at alexab.alchemy. Also, if you want to like pimp me out and just like shower some love on me, super appreciate interaction with what I'm doing. So if you want to comment below, press the like button, hit subscribe, do a little notification bell thing so that you can be notified when I make new videos, because I've got a new one every single week. This week, what the f am I doing? It's really exciting. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop now. Thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day. I wish you well, I wish you power, and I wish you all the abundance your life could ever bring to you that you would want. Whew, we out.